Thanks, Chris, for that lovely introduction, and what an awesome conference it's been so far, eh? Yeah. In this talk, I'm presenting a very simple idea, and that's an elaboration of Dennis Smalley's tripartite analysis, and how I use this in my own practice. It doesn't necessarily reflect my key fascinations, but nevertheless, I hope it'll be something that's of value to the conference. Propose that the use of a checklist or template at various times within the compositional process does nothing to hinder creativity. On the contrary, it's my view that this simple exercise supports a process of reflective examination that's already being carried out. As Cook says, the purpose of the analytical method is to illuminate the music, and this has certainly been true in my own experience. I've found that the use of this template has taken me along pathways that I would not have been aware of had I been solely reliant on my intuition. At this point, I won't bore you with a discussion concerning process or the validity of the claim, as, believe it or not, I've written about this topic elsewhere. There has to be something wrong with me to be writing about these things. Never mind. Today I'd like to focus on the detail of the template, which approaches the matter of analysis from the position of the listener. And I should also state that the analytical style is primarily focused on the discovery and use of universal principles. So I'd now like to take you through the model using 3 examples of work in progress. So these are things that I'm currently working on. First is just a little sound. It's from a little Jew's harp that I picked up in Portugal. And I've become quite fascinated with this sound. I've recorded it, which I'll play it to you in a moment. Obviously, I have both acoustic and performative and electroacoustic transformational methods at my disposal. So what might I do to develop this sound? So, firstly, from the sphere of traditional music analysis, I might like to consider the harmonic and rhythmic content, or the overall form. These natural divisions were proposed by Nicholas Cook in his book, A Guide to Musical Analysis, 1987. But I believe what he was suggesting was the idea of a continuum between short and long time frame musical events, obviously with intermediate time frame populating the middle ground. Certainly many terms can be categorized in this way. Each highlights an aspect of either the frequency axis or the temporal axis, or combinations of both. And I've actually taken the liberty yesterday of jotting down some of the terms that were used in the presentation. So if you refer to your sheets, the list is on the right-hand side. These are all the things that were discussed yesterday. There were many, many more discussed today. Smalley refers to this type of discourse as interactive. He states, it involves an active relationship on the part of the subject and continuously exploring the qualities and structure of the object. In this sense, it can be regarded as interactive. No preformed expectation is sought by the listener. The interactive relationship embraces structural hearing, aesthetic attitudes towards music and sound, and Pierre Schaeffer's concept of reduced listening. Okay, Next, I might consider the fact that I can identify the instrument. So referring back to the example. Or perhaps just the family of instruments, and that the material itself tends to supply at least weak associations with the human voice, in this case the buccal cavity. So to unpack this indicative relationship, I refer to Smalley's 9 fields in the same paper. So just running through them, they are gesture, utterance, behaviour, energy and motion, object, substance, environment, vision and space. So let's just have a look at what some of these mean. I'd like to spend about 5 minutes going through this because it's extremely revealing. There's musical potential here. So gesture, texture, the perception of a human or other living creature as the producer of the sound. So he uses the term surrogacy here. This identifiable source, if the source isn't identifiable, directly identifiable, the listener is thus called upon to exercise and enjoy maximum gestural imagination. Gestures also operate within certain time frames. Outside these time frames, they become textural, and we can make certain comparisons, for example, between human and environmentally produced sounds. Utterance, the fact that sounds of utterance are generated from within the body, and that they're an essential vehicle for personal expression and communication, makes utterance intimate and emotionally charged. Therefore, the listener's relationship with utterance is often reflexive rather than indicative. We'll get back to the reflexive relationship shortly. Behaviour, this one is fascinating, I think. Behaviour. The placing of sounds in a context automatically ensures that some kind of relationship must exist among them. The term behaviour has been chosen to represent these relationships. So first of all, we have dominant subordination, concerned with the equality or inequality of participating morphologies. For example, the idea of foreground and background that we've heard. Due to a variety of factors, for example, dynamic shaping, changes in spectral richness, and so on, this relationship is developed. A simple and obvious example would be a bright, spatially present impact attack superimposed on a sustained, relative distant, spectrally inactive morphology. So finally, the indicative impact of a sound can affect its dominance. So whether or not we recognise it, for example, the human voice. Music with an element of human voice is often referred to as film music, for example. Because of the dominance of the human voice. There's 2 others, conflict coexistence, and that is, on one hand, sounds can exhibit competitive tendencies, and on the other, they can exist in a reciprocal, confluent environment. Causality is the remaining one, and it's concerned with one sound acting upon another, either causing the second event to occur or instigating change in that sound. Okay, energy and motion, we're concerned with trajectory. So music is often considered as having a forward motion, so long as there's sufficient directional tendency, or it's maintained for an adequate length of time. So this directionality is orientated towards growth. Object substance, and we heard about the sound object in the last presentation. Environment, the use of environmental sounds, greatly impacting, as we saw from the first 3 presentations this morning. Vision. I think we're talking about, let's adopt a different term, quasi-visual. It doesn't need to have a direct visual association, although the sound, the listening experience itself, in turn suggests some kind of synesthesia. Space, which has been a theme throughout this conference, marvellous. Smalley has three different categorizations there. It's been discussed at length already, so we don't need to dwell on that anymore. Right. Okay. I might now decide to transform the indicative quality of the sound by altering the balance between these categories. For example, I could play this instrument using more utterance characteristic, or alter the spatial qualities just simply by recording it further away. Now, that's the two categories. We get to the really interesting one now. So last, but by no means least, I might consider the emotional impact of the sound. This reflexive relationship is defined by Smalley as: it is subject-centred and concerned with basic emotional responses to the object of perception. The object has no real identity separate from the subject's emotion. Smalley also uses the term autocentric to describe commonly occurring positive, negative emotional reactions to sound. This immediate psychological response is produced by a combination of the more objective qualities listed in the other fields, that is, the dual and concrete aspects of sound. But it's to Smalley's credit that he insists on a separate examination of this reflexive relationship. In my view, it's an attempt to engage directly with the X factor of the music. How does it affect us? These are very special qualities, obviously, and I think we really seek them out in our compositions. So from this type of examination, I might decide to develop the material along an intuitive, emotional pathway. I might try to play more expressively, or perhaps with more joy or sadness. Let's have another example. This is the sound of an Aeolian ukulele, which I used to live in Medicana, and this is me standing on the wharf and receiving the wind from the ocean. Go to number 3. Now in context. Again, referring to the sheet. How has this been developed? First of all, it's within the context of the work, so you see it's how the behavioural relationship. You also see that it's had some development. The progression moves downwards first of all, and then I seize control of the spectral elements that are going on, and so we have a chord progression, if you like.
From the time that I was a teenager until just a couple of years ago, my parents owned a farm. It was in a little place called Aniseed Valley in Richmond, Nelson. And as a university student, I would come home and spend my summers there. And boy, I've got some terrific memories of the place. Swimming in the river that ran through the property, the sound of the wind blowing through the cottonwoods, people of the valley who were such characters, and in particular a whole bunch of memories centered around the activity of making hay.
People just descended on the place from all around, they'd hear it going. Oh, there's the hay going, we better go and help them get it in. And kids and dogs and people and all ages, and before long it was done, and then you'd be sitting around having a...
Okay, so interestingly, we see that these decisions become fairly obvious within context. In the electroacoustic music studies classes that happen within these walls, we overlay many different styles and types of analyses over top of this simple model. Because as we know, not one approach reveals all the splendour of music. I'm not advocating this as a sole approach. Each analysis strategy highlights and masks specific musical qualities. But let's just entertain just for a moment how some of these other analysis strategies that we've seen throughout the conference might interface. Where would semiotic analysis go, for example? How about Schenkerian? Haven't heard from that one much. How about Gaston Bachelard's poetic image, or Jung's archetypes, or Albert Brigman's audio scene analysis? I'm reading a great book on permaculture at the moment, and I think it's a very musical book. If you can see my point, how things we actually tend to build our own elaboration of these basic models. Okay, so what I'm advocating is actually both a simple elaboration as you have in front of you, but also a more complex one. And I mean, these complex ones can be your own inventions. I'd now like to finish with, actually, there is a brief summary, so penultimately, play you an extract of Work in Progress, which is an example of this approach in practice. Through examination of the initial material, that's a vocal recording of my father, both indicative and interactive components can be drawn from the source material. The 5-minute extract is taken from near the beginning of the work, and its function is to introduce a number of associated themes that will be revisited and abstracted further later in the work. It's from a piece called While the Sun Shines, which is going to be exhibited in my sound dome this December. If you turn the paper over, you'll see there's a picture there, and the festival is listed. What you're hearing is a stereo mix. That sound dome has 33 channels or something ridiculous. So, you should try to imagine the sounds coming from all around you, both high and low, near and far. And please refer to the sheet as the extract is playing. The intention is that it will hopefully reveal some of the creative decisions that I've made as the piece progresses.
But I used to bail by ear, because you'd, as much as anything, you'd be listening for the sound of the bailer to know whether it was working right, and it became quite refined, really. You know, the chicka 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 chicka, and the difference in maybe 100 revs on the rev counter made the difference between really good hay and bad. And you could just hear it, chicka 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 chicka, click 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 clock, chicka 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 chicka. That was the knots being tied, you see. And you'd listen for every knot. Yeah, that one's all right. And the next one, click click click. Yeah, that's all right. And then you'd try to get, the ideal was to get 10 slices per bale, 10 to 12 slices per bale. So you had to have a pretty fat windrow of hay in order to do that. And you had to have your speed right so that it would scoop up all, because this massive great plunger. And so 10 of those would make a good bale.
Yeah, right.
The tone of it all, the rhythm of it all. Yeah, as it's a fact, you know, the tone of it all, the rhythm of it all was really quite important.